I'll buy your book if you answer my question. How many drafts do you typically do, and how do you know when a project is finished? You know what? I'll take that deal. I like that idea. Very good. And as a matter of fact, I will make the same deal to anyone else because I got a lot of questions here, and I'll let you jump the line. If I answer your question and you're satisfied with it, then you can pick up my book, The Paper Orchestra. It's available here or in the shop down there. All right. The answer, sir, is it depends on what I'm writing. So in television, we don't get a lot of time to write drafts, right? Because we got to shoot a thing every Monday. We have time constraints, and these drafts have to be handed in time to the studio to give notes, to the department heads so sets can be built, or wardrobe can be purchased. It's not like you finish a draft and then you shoot tomorrow. You need some lead up time. In TV, well, at least in sitcoms, this is generally how it works. You'll have a team of professional writers, let's say 8 or 10 writers working in the writer's room. It'll take a team of writers working full time, maybe 5 days to break the story. That means figuring out the character arcs, the act break moments, all the dynamics and all that before one word has been written. Then one writer will be selected to write an outline. They usually get a week to write an outline. Then they come back, they get more notes on the outline. Then they go off and write a first draft. They get a week for that, more notes. Second draft, they get another week for that. Then the writer's room or the showrunner, depends on how they run the room, will spend maybe 2 or 3 days tightening up that script. Depends on what kind of shape it came in. Then that script will go to the first day of rehearsal, depending on whether it's a single camera show or a multi-camera show. You might get 1 date for a rewrite, or you might get 5. It just depends, okay? Now, so that's that schedule. For my book, which is a collection of true short stories, which you're going to love, it's called The Paper Orchestra. It's a little different because I didn't have a time crunch. I wasn't like, I can put it out when I wanted to, when I thought it was done, when I thought it was ready. And so there are 17 short stories in here. And it took me about 2.5 years to write all those stories. And I was working pretty hard, and I was very serious about it. And each story had about anywhere from 20 to 40 drafts, which I think was typical for the way I was writing. And what happened was I would write the story, maybe on draft 10, I'm hoping to get a sense of what the story really is. Because the story is, you're taking your reader or your viewer on a journey. And that last moment that you're building to, that better be, have a fantastic view, or else why did you take the person on that journey? And so often I wouldn't figure out what that view was going to be until like draft 10. And then when I did, I was like, okay, now I have a story here, and now I can go backwards and get rid of all the stuff that's not the story, and I can focus on it, and now I can really build up to what I think the story is. And that would take, like I said, anywhere from 20 to 40 drafts. Towards the end, on draft 40 or so, that's when I would start reading it out loud. I perform them to small groups. Reading it out loud is really important, at least coming from television. You can really get a sense of, are these moments landing? Are the emotional moments landing? Are the act breaks popping? And if it didn't, I would do a rewrite. And so I had the benefit of knowing what I was building to, so that ending really felt satisfying. That's how you know. And then once I'm there, I'm done. Now, here's the thing. Going back and looking at these stories, I'm very happy with the way the book came out. But there was an interview on 60 Minutes a couple years ago or more, where Leslie Stahl interviewed the great architect Frank Gehry, and she took him in front of the Disney Concert Hall, which he designed. It's a beautiful building, and she said, "What do you see when you look at this building?" And he said, "I see all the things I would do differently." And that's because he's an artist, because you're always evolving and you have a critical eye. And I feel the same way. Even though I'm very happy with the stories here, when I look at it, I go, I wonder if I could have done it differently. So that doesn't mean I'm not happy. It just means you're always evolving. You're always changing. So anyway, I hope I answered your question to your satisfaction. If you're on TikTok, you can get signed copies there. If you're on the other app, you can go over here. And anyone else, again, I'll let you jump to the head of the line if you want to get my book. We're on the honor system here, although I do have ways of checking. But thank you so much. I love your idea.